Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Monday.
Morning.
We got a bunch of frantic messages this morning. Everybody's saying, "I'm on my way, I'm on my way, I'm on my way." So we're gonna launch with the three of us and hope everybody else gets here. So technical problems and all kinds of fun stuff. Man, some weekends the farm kicks my ass. I freaking not only was tearing down fences, building chicken coops. I'm just worn the fuck. I'm 47 years old and I feel like I'm 100. My whole damn body aches from working on the farm
Yeah, but you
this
keep
week.
acting like you're 20. So,
I know.
positives and negatives there.
It balances out in some frame.
Yeah.
Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. I made it. Out of my day. I'm like, I was gonna start swearing like Donnie. I was like, fucking camera.
Oh, that's fine.
Nice.
Oh.
That's awesome. That's
Happy
awesome.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Oh, AI is getting just insane. The massive AI war going on between like Google and OpenAI and all these people is nuts. ChatGPT just rolled out this AI operator. It's $200 a month, so it's really on the high end for AIs. But this thing will come in and you can give it permission to take over your screen and do functions for you. I watched this guy book a flight for 8 people and a total trip, hotels and everything, negotiate with the freaking hotel to get better price, negotiate with the airline to get better tickets. And anytime it gets like sensitive information, like your credit card and everything else, it stops the AI so you can go input the information. And then after you hit submit, it then comes back in and integrates and acts as a real person.
It negotiates over text or
Yep.
over voice?
Over text. But it literally can do tasks and you could put it on a secondary screen and just let it go do things. Like, I'm wondering if I could, because it's basically logged in under your profile and things. So I'm wondering if the damn thing could go to my LinkedIn and just search for different things that I could go comment on, right? And pull up different posts and drop it in an Excel spreadsheet for me so I could freaking, come back and find different things to comment on. But it's not like an extension or overlay, so it's not violating like LinkedIn's, policies because you are not, technically putting an extension or going into the API. They're going through my profile. So, but just crazy how much AI is getting insane. I saw another program called lovable.dev. It literally is going to replace all SaaS companies, which is scary as hell. But in just a few minutes, I was able to go in and build a web app for Success Champions. And this same type of web app, and we were quoted at $300,000 to build. And I've done half the build already for less than $100. Doing it. AI is insane. Good morning, Ashley's cat's butt.
Hey, sorry about that. I feel like it's part of the program.
This is why I keep the door closed, right? Have a ton of freaking critters in here. But yeah, it's gonna get wild, wild west out there in AI land as new things keep popping up.
Were you talking about using Gemini?
Well, depends. The Gemini's, right now, there's a list of like the top AIs, and Gemini just hit the top of the board with the new 2.0 release. Crazy. Are you seeing crazy stuff with Gemini, Ash?
No, I just have heard you talk about it multiple times, and then I was on a call with somebody last week who also mentioned it, and so I haven't tried it yet though.
Yeah, though, if you're gonna do like research, there's another competitor for ChatGPT that just hit the market called DeepThink. This one reasons with itself, and you can watch it. So I watched a guy put ChatGPT and DeepThink side by side, and ask it generic like questions, and the questions responses. You could see the speed was about the same for ChatGPT, but you watched this DeepThink like rethink its own thought process to give you a more thorough output.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're all gonna die to robots for too long.
I have a question though, Don. Like, how many AI how many of those do you currently use? Like, I have ChatGPT and I have Perplexity. And like, Yeah, like you're still counting. Like, how many do you want? And
Donnie doesn't talk to humans anymore. He only talks to robots.
seriously.
I mean, I'm constantly looking for ways to improve processes. So I'm including in there things like Descript, because Descript then, takes all of editing, and like video editors should be worried about something like Descript. I can hire.
I have I use Opus. I guess I'm thinking more like the generative AI or like LLMs or like when we think AI, like the traditional like ChatGPT.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to get like Mid Journeys and all that stuff, do all that. Like if I need to create graphics, I'm using Canva or I'm using ChatGPT, because Canva's graphic generator keeps getting better and better. And Canva just added a AI writer that's not half bad too. So ChatGPT is probably my primary function. Perplexity has been my search, although Gemini is about ready to replace it, just because how they're going, or this DeepThink may replace this. But I'm constantly looking at all the different AI apps and things because I want to see what's coming down, because I look at it from a company perspective. I've got to stay up with, or surpass what everybody else is doing, and so we can stay relevant in the marketplace. So but I do think that.
Do you guys know who Sendoso is?
Sendoso?
Yeah. It's a corporate gifting platform, but can be used by solo business owners. But they created an AI tool that you can connect to somebody's LinkedIn profile, and it will read it and suggest a gift that is personal and meaningful.
That's pretty crazy.
That is cool.
It's fabulous. It's just a good tool because gifting works really well as like an alternate source of, prospecting and selling and connecting with somebody. But sometimes it's hard to figure out quickly what an easy gift is. And their little, I think Alice is maybe what it's called, ALYCE. And it just like reads their profile and then says, oh, I think something in the, pirate genre would be good for her.
I don't want to know what it recommends for me.
Well, speaking of gifts, I just got my first SCN member mail this weekend.
Member mail?
Yeah. I'm going to bring it on here. It's from Paul. I'm going to have a 30-second dance party.
Oh my God.
Okay, you can't make me dance by myself.
Okay.
I'm right here. There's no Q-tip, right? Just right here. I'm all hitch, man. That's what you get from me.
Oh my God.
Okay, I had to do it. So he was. I saw him comment. So there you go, Paul. 30-second dance party.
That's awesome. Well, P, let's play a game.
All right. There's nothing quite like getting on SCN and feeling stupid in the morning. So we're going to play riddles.
Great.
Yeah, everybody knows how riddles work. I don't need to explain anymore.
I'm just still, I'm going to go back and put Jessica's first dance moves on loop as a GIF.
So my son was doing it this morning, and I sent it to Paul. I was like, this one does not make the cut for
Paul, I need that video.
Put it on loop. I don't want to be in it. It's too late, though. What can fill a room but take up no space?
Air.
There's a good one. There's the one I went to whenever I first read it. It's not the one that's on the list, though.
Well, it's right.
I agree. You're right. But apparently the riddle says no, Donnie. And so, according to the riddle, you're wrong.
Oxygen?
No, I feel like that's in the same bubble as air. Once Donnie's found an answer, he's going to stick with it, huh?
I don't know any guesses.
Fear?
Fear.
Emotions?
Ooh, that's a good one. Answer. This one went light, is what the answer was. But fear was better. I'm going to write that down instead. What is always in front of you, but can't be seen?
The fucking
your future
thing.
The future is correct, but what did you say, Ashley?
The answer to anything.
Yeah, the future. I was like, ooh, interesting. This one I remember reading and I've heard before, but I couldn't remember the answer. Walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening. What is it?
So that's supposed to be like some sort of parallel to man, right? Because you crawl as a baby, you walk as an adult, and then as an older person, you use a cane.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, the cane's the third leg. Got it.
Correct. Yeah. Evolution of man. But evolution is weird, but
Melissa, have you heard that one before? Because I would have never gotten that.
No, I've totally heard that. Yes. I'm not that smart.
At least Donnie has heard this one before. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they chomp, then they stomp, then they stand still.
Oh, your
I
teeth.
have.
Yes,
Teeth?
it's actually in a movie.
Is there a question there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are the 30 white horses on a red hill?
It's teeth, but
Oh, I got it right. Teeth.
It's teeth.
I don't remember
Yeah.
the movie.
It's Lord of the Rings. It's whenever Bilbo and Gollum are in there trading back riddles back and
Oh,
forth.
back and forth. Got it. Yeah, because I'm gonna remember all the riddles that they go through. They go through like
Oh, when it came across the screen, I was like, I know this one. I was so excited to like, I know one. What's black when you get it, red when you use it, and white when you're all through with it?
It's not toilet paper.
Newspaper.
Paper. It's not newspaper.
If your toilet paper is red when you use it, you got
You
a
got an
whole other
issue.
set of
Yeah,
problems.
you got issues. I mean, we're all getting older. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might need to go to a doctor, Donnie. Any other guesses, or I'll switch it?
I'm out. It'll make sense, I'm sure, when we see it. But
Yeah, this one didn't feel like a riddle, but it's charcoal.
I would, yeah,
Nice.
Black to red to
Red,
white when you're
yeah.
done with it.
eh.
For rooster lays
I
an egg
know
on
the
wall.
answer to this one, so I'm not
Red
responding.
Roosters don't lay
Roosters
eggs.
don't lay eggs.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
is.
Roosters don't lay eggs. Yeah. Okay, everybody's smart because everybody knows Donnie. Donnie has roosters and chickens and goats and all the life.
Wow.
Wow.
Short can be grown, I can be bought.
I can be long, I can be short. I can be grown and I can be bought. I can be painted or left bare. I can be round or square. What am
A
I?
wall.
A table.
Ooh. The table's good.
Wall?
But it can't be grown. A wall can't be grown.
Be a
Well, I mean,
freaking
you
bush.
grow the wood to make the table.
No.
Right?
Nope.
A hedge.
Nope.
A hedge is a wall.
This
You ever
one
seen a
is
freaking maze in front of a castle? Pretty sure those were all hedges.
A
all right,
fence.
right. But no, Donnie. But no. You can argue it all you want.
Fuck your
to.
game, Peyton.
A fence.
A fence, still not grown.
What?
Unless
Yes, it
you're
is.
arguing your hedges.
Grass? You can paint
No.
grass.
You can paint grass, but round or square?
Hay. It's a hay bale.
Painted hay bale?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot down all your answers, Donnie.
I know where you live.
A fingernail.
Oh, what? Okay. I wouldn't have
Round,
gotten
That was
Painted.
dumb.
It's
You know what?
grown.
Take your fingernail and go play with charcoal.
Every time Johnny's wrong, Johnny's gonna be more and more upset. And that's why I like this game.
Oh, Kevin actually got it. The buyer doesn't
The
use
maker
it.
doesn't want it, the buyer doesn't use it, and the user never sees it. What is it?
Taxes.
No.
I don't know.
Okay, this one. I want to give hints. Okay, I'm gonna give a hint on this one because I like the answer on this one. It has to do with death.
The grave
Yeah.
marker.
Coffin.
A coffin, Graveyard, I'll accept that, but coffin is right. Yeah.
Good one.
I've never understood why people have plush, like elaborate coffins. I'm like, you're dead.
Yeah.
Give me a
Yo.
freaking pine box. You're just, it's over. I don't need fancy luxury. And don't let me take my jewels with me. Go sell that shit.
Yeah, I agree. There are 2 barbers in town. Barber's A shop is clean, just like his haircut, and Barber's B shop is messy, just like his haircut. Which barber do you go get your haircut from?
I feel like this is a would you rather.
Yeah.
Kind of, but there is some logic to it.
I think B, because A doesn't even cut hair because his shop is too clean.
Shop is
I
clean.
like that logic. I'm going with B, but I can't figure out a good reason why.
Anybody else?
I'll go with B too.
I'll go with A just to be contrary, but I have no idea why.
Bernie's never had a haircut.
You go with Barber B because he must have cut A's hair, and A had a clean haircut.
Oh,
You can't cut your own hair, at least not well.
oh, excellent.
Wow.
Uh-huh. All right, last one.
What's in my pocket? It's a fucking ring. That one I know.
And the last one.
Oh,
All
geez.
right, now we'll send it over to Melissa's segment. This is Melissa Cohen, personal branding and LinkedIn strategist. After losing her dream job in 2020, Melissa soul searched for her voice and found it on LinkedIn. Now she helps others to find their voice, develop their personal brand, and craft their thought leadership. Whether your goal is to future-proof your career, build your audience, or develop a content and engagement strategy, Melissa is here to walk alongside you. And today, she gets the hot seat with the Success Champions team.
Well, what's up, Rockstar?
Hello.
This is going to be fun. So, Melissa, this is her second time hanging out with us. Freaking LinkedIn royalty at this point. You can't jump on LinkedIn without somebody bringing up Melissa's name. Peyton and I got to go hang out with her in New York, which was a freaking blast. We got to tour the LinkedIn offices and stuff. There's Serena popping in. So, Melissa, welcome back to the show. Catch us up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us how we can help today.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for having me back. I always love hanging out with you guys, and sincerely, thank you for coming to New York. I am so blown away. You, Kevin, Peyton, Dana, that was a big trip. So thank you. 2025's off to a good start. I was joking this morning that it feels like January 95th. This has seemed like a really long month,
For real.
right? It's been crazy.
That was a really good newsletter, by the way.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I gotta figure out that image thing. The size of those images, it drives me nuts. So Donnie and I were talking, when you do a newsletter and you embed images, if you don't minimize them, they look gigantic. They take up your entire screen. But then when you do minimize them, they look good on desktop, but on mobile they look teeny tiny. So I don't know. I haven't found a solve for that yet. Yeah, I haven't had a solve. Doing what I'm doing, love what I'm doing, super excited that I made this transition and this switch. It is definitely just been the most fun. I've had the most fun year. Seriously, I've had so many experiences and events and connections, and it's just been an amazing year. And now I'm kind of at a point where I need to figure out what I want to do when I grow up again. So here I am.
That's no fun. That's way overrated. Nobody wants that.
Exactly.
So, well, how can we tell people what you do, who you are a little bit, so those two people in the world that don't know you.
Absolutely. So I'm a LinkedIn and personal branding strategist. I help people to find their voice, build their brand, and build their business predominantly on LinkedIn, my absolute favorite platform where I spend way too much time, but I love. And the people that I help right now traditionally have been falling into 2 camps, right? So they're either solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, very small business owners, or they're people in job search. And I don't do resumes, I don't do things like that, but I do help people in job search with their LinkedIn, because people are realizing that that is a huge piece of their job search, right? It's not just having the resume, it's not just having the interview prep, but it's also having a profile that's really optimized for your job search. And I love doing that. Like, I so sincerely love what I do, and I love helping people, and I love helping individual people, right? Because it's very one-on-one, and you guys know me, like, that's who I am. I love having an actual relationship with people. I also recognize it's not super scalable, right? Because there's only so many hours in the day. There's only me. And yes, a lot of people have said, oh, you should hire people, but that's honestly not what I want to do. Like, I feel that people come to work with me to get me. And I don't want to necessarily be farming that kind of stuff out, right? But I would like to start to move a little bit in the B2B way, to be able to like work with teams. Small, it doesn't have to be like massive teams, but just to have greater impact and be able to help more people. But at the same time, I don't want to lose that sort of like joy that I have from the one-to-one. And so, everybody talks about like niching down, super specific. And I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know that I want to say, nope, I'm moving solely in one direction. I kind of selfishly want to still have a mix. And I don't know if that's a terrible idea.
Oh, you are so speaking all of my words right now, Melissa.
Good.
Oh, it's like, I feel everything that you're saying, feel exactly where you're coming from. I think the difference between where we've been is that I immediately went B2B. I went sales teams right from the start, and I never wanted to do the one-on-one stuff necessarily. And I think that there are different teams that you could probably better serve than someone like myself, and it's the niching down. Now, I'll let Donnie talk more about niching down because I don't enjoy it.
I have opinions, as always.
But I mean, like, marketing teams, you could probably be really well equipped for marketing teams, and I kind of think that, even though, because I'm a salesperson, I want to talk to salespeople, that in a lot of companies, the marketing teams are maybe doing a little bit, a little bit more.
What's your opinion?
Are maybe doing a little bit more for the company side, and like building a brand for themselves, for the company, because the founder doesn't have time to do it or whatever, and I'm talking about smaller businesses, like 200 people, not like founder-led 3 people businesses, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's probably the right size. Like, and it's funny because a lot of my solopreneur clients are marketers, and they all say the same exact thing. Every single one of them. I can market anything, but not myself. Like, I know the minute I can tell when it's going to come out of their mouth. And that's so funny. I agree. Yeah, it is kind of an area I would focus on. So that's actually really good advice.
Well, one of the things that I would start thinking about, and it's what everybody goes through mentally when they're going from one-on-one coaching to working with corporates, they think they're losing the one-on-one aspect. And what they don't understand is you're going to work with a company, you're still going to do a lot of one-on-one coaching, just get paid a hell of a lot more. And the one-on-one just happens to be with employees of the companies you're working with. Like, when I sold sales training, I'd had, 20 to 50 clients going at one time, but I still met with each individual salesperson, the sales managers in the company, and worked one-on-one with them, because you're still going to have a personal touch. I think you'll see it's a lot more fun to do group think and group coaching and get the interaction from a whole bunch, right? That's my favorite place to be. Is I want to be one to many, because somebody else is going to get an aha somewhere that somebody else is finally going to wrap their head around. So it really does get a lot more exploratory, expansive. On niching, here's where I stand. Okay, I don't give a fuck. The only reason I think you should niche is because it does make you more referable. Like, all the copywriters and everything say you should niche because, you speak to one audience, blah, 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 blah. I like it from the aspect of people know who to send my way. Like, so if I'm out and about in a conversation and, if you came out and were like LinkedIn for marketing, where Ash spends more time LinkedIn for, sales type of side of things, then people know if you got a company that's on, trying to figure out LinkedIn marketing, right? Not ads, right? But personal development type, then it starts sending you apart from all the other LinkedIn people, right? That's for me the power niche. Go ahead, Jess.
Niching came around, the term, it's always been around. The thing is, it came around when SEO people and marketing people realized that they couldn't go off of short tail keywords anymore of saying, hey, I'm a bookkeeper, come hire me, find me on the internet. They had to go, hey, I'm a bookkeeper for trade services. And so they started getting very specific on who they serve. So when people search it of, hey, I'm looking for copywriters that work with marketing teams. That's where it came in, and that's when it kind of blew up. It's always been around. It's just once people had to utilize it in the digital space is when it really took off.
I didn't know that, but
yeah.
Alan, niching, it's NICHE, and it's about kind of picking a lane. So if you're a coach, it'd be potentially, I'm a coach for executives, or I'm a coach that only works with plumbing companies, right? So it's picking a very singular name. It's what they typically think it say when they talk about niching.
Well, the other thing that I have, like, kind of a newer concept in the last year is rather than trying to niche based on your industry, have your offer be what separates you, what makes you different. And so, I mean, not that I've got that figured out by any means, but it was just kind of a new view of what it means. Like, your niche doesn't have to be the automotive industry. It can be what you provide to a sales team, I mean, like, and not necessarily a sales team, but like just your offer in general is different than what other people are offering. And that can set you apart too.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that you could potentially look at, Melissa, is, at least in my experience, most people's business pages on LinkedIn effing suck. I don't think there's anybody really helping and working on that specific area of LinkedIn. It's all personal brand, which, makes sense, obviously, for the platform, but their business pages, mine included, suck.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, who does it really, really well, though? There's a couple people who do it really well. Like Sendoso, their head of business development runs their company page, and their company page is all over the place. Like, they comment from their company page. And because, as Melissa talks about all the time, commenting is where it's at. That's how you build connections and meet people. And so if you're doing that from a company page, that's a great stance.
No, exactly what I was going to say. Company pages don't get a lot of love on LinkedIn organically, right? And so you have to be willing to really say, okay, if I'm going to have a company page, and Bernie, you're like 100% right, they're usually terrible. You have to also be willing to put in the work to actually, it looks great, now I have to do something with it. Right. Unless you're going to do paid ads. Like, if you do paid boosting from your page, then you'll get some love on the platform. But it's definitely, it's a labor of love for sure.
Yeah. I really like the idea of you going after the marketing teams. I think, Melissa, I think that companies would lean in a lot harder. I think you'd have to think a lot about your content and what you're currently putting out there for more of the individualized side of things, and start talking about how to get your marketing message aligned for your company out there. But I think you already speak the corporate lingo so well, coming from your background and the things you do. I think it would be a natural transition. I do think the hardest part for you is going to be the business development side of it. 'Cause that's the hardest transition, to go from one-on-one to one-to-many, or B2B, into group sales, is because it's a different dialogue. But I will tell you, because of the way I talk about networking, companies do reach out to me to come speak about networking to their teams and such. So it's a matter of rethinking what is the content that's going to get people, the marketing teams, to reach out to me and want to know more information. What scares you the most about going B2B?
Well, you said the dreaded business development term, because that makes me sense. There's nothing I hate more. I think really just what I don't want to lose that feeling that I have helped an individual person is so rewarding to me. But I hear you. I will be helping. And it's funny, you were talking about like the dynamic of when you teach to many, right? So, I also have a membership community where I do boot camps and like multi-week courses. And you're right, I do love that, right? I love that interaction. And then people are learning not just from me, but also from each other. And I learn things too, right? Like someone will say something and I'll be like, that's brilliant. And I do like that dynamic.
I say something all the time and go, oh, that's brilliant. Oh, wait, no.
You have the same reaction.
Melissa, I think another thing that a lot of companies really need and struggle to figure out is how do we get our company message and our company like values and things like that out there on LinkedIn via our employees. I mean, if you can get the marketing team involved in creating their personal brand and participating on LinkedIn, but still continuing to tie in that company brand, then the company is a lot more excited about you helping their marketing team build a personal brand.
Yeah. And I would add in there, the other biggest fear they have is that people are going to build a personal brand and leave.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. If you're helping them tie in company values, then the company is less afraid of you helping the people build on the platform because you're building on behalf of them almost,
That's like one of the biggest barriers I've seen is just that so many organizations are so afraid of their people being on LinkedIn instead of encouraging it, right? And you would save so much in your marketing budget, in your advertising budget. Use your people, right, to like be ambassadors for your brand on
Absolutely.
LinkedIn. And instead they have this like weird phobia, like exactly what you said, like they're going to get another job, they're going to leave. And you know what? People are going to stay or leave regardless, not because they started posting on LinkedIn. They're either loyal to the company, believe in the brand, believe in the product, believe in the organization, or they don't.
You have a much bigger problem if that is your fear. If your fear is that someone building on LinkedIn is going to make all your employees leave, then you have a much bigger culture issue than LinkedIn posting.
1000%. But how often do you see it, right? I know I do. I see it all the time where people are like, I can't post on LinkedIn. Like my boss will go nuts. Like, what? Why?
Well, and even the people that I've seen leave their jobs and go full-time influencer types work, if you will, on LinkedIn, it took them 3-4 years still to pull that off. And how much revenue did they bring their company in that 3 to 4 years?
Yeah.
And the average lifespan for an employee nowadays, you're 2 years, you're lucky to keep somebody. Yeah. So if I'm going to get somebody for 2 years, then by God, I'm going to try and get everything I can out of them, and get as much exposure as I possibly can.
Exactly.
Because for me, there's nothing more tragic than going to see the same post from 20 people because corporate said this is what you could post. And nobody's commenting on it. Nobody's interacting with it. Nobody's seeing it, because they're pushing up this random corporate agenda that nobody gives a shit about.
I have literally coached people who are like really new to LinkedIn and don't know what to say, all that kind of stuff, and do the repost of the company post constantly. I'm like, look, one little step. Copy and paste the marketing post into ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite the post in a different voice for you, and then post that as your own post instead of resharing the marketing post. Like just one little step changes a whole bunch. But Melissa, the other thing I would say is marketing teams, if you like looking for marketing teams, it might also be a really good idea to look for marketing teams in companies who feel like they have customers on the platform. Because there are plenty of industries, because that's the thing you and I hear all the time, right? Well, my customers aren't here, so what's the point in building here? And that if you can find that group of people because like the auto industry, you'll hear people in the auto industry say all the time, there's no dealers on the platform. And yes, there are a few, but there are other industries where there are many more people on the platform that you can be targeting marketing teams of those companies.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah.
And I've always liked the idea of creating a hit list. Let's create a list of key target companies that would just be fun to go work with, whether because you already use their products or you already know some of their people and the likes. And then can you use everything you've done from LinkedIn to get connected into that team? right? So your business development gap isn't so harsh. You know, you have a natural, well, I'm already using your guys' stuff. I do talk about it. I would love to sit down and talk to you guys about potentially how to leverage LinkedIn better for your company, just because I want to see a product that I love, you know, win more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay.
And how can your fashion industry knowledge pull you towards that as well, right? I mean, not necessarily brands like fashion brands, but who are the adjacent companies that also work with fashion brands that you could teach about how to show up here?
Yep. I do think, to your point though, like some of the smaller, more independent and more local, like New York City based fashion brands could, like, not like, you know, I used to work at Ralph Lauren. Like Ralph has a whole team for everything, right? But like a small, more indie brand that's in the city, I think there's a huge missed opportunity, right? Those
Absolutely.
people, those customers are absolutely on LinkedIn, and it's all about building brand awareness and, you know, talking about the things that matter, right? Some of these brands are doing amazing things. They're doing these amazing initiatives with sustainability. They're doing these amazing things with, you know, avant-garde top production practices, right? Cut to sales, you know, print on demand, not making massive quantities of goods anymore. And if people knew about these things, they'd be more inclined to buy from them. It's literally a no cost way to market yourself, to market your brand.
How many indie brands are in New York?
Oh, bajillions.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know a number,
Like
but
all of them. I mean, and they could build those small ones like that too, Melissa, are going to be able to build so much better as like as the founder. You know what I mean? Like that, like using the person here to build their brand rather than the company necessarily. And you could totally help with that because you can speak so much to that industry.
And I just see it as such a cool pairing with the clothing line. You know, imagine if the employees are even wearing the clothes and the likes that they're promoting in the imagery and everything they're doing. There's a 1-2 punch of not only are we talking about the clothing line, but this is the shit we're wearing as well.
Yeah,
You know,
you're right. And
so
that happens organically, right? Because most brands are giving employees pretty, you know, nice employee discounts and incentives to wear the clothes. So that would, yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Oh, you know what? You could prospect Instagram for people to bring over to LinkedIn. Seriously, like you could find, because a lot of those brands think that they need to be showing up on Instagram, which they probably do. But as a way to find them because they aren't already here. And then, I mean, that's way business development for you, but but I mean, because you can speak their language, it might be an easy way to be able to reach out and say, hey, just an idea.
And see, this is what I like, the power of niching, because now you could literally say, hey, I'm going to do a workshop for indie clothing brands and how your company should be exploring LinkedIn and how to get value out of it, right? Now you get a little bit more specific. And you know, if you were to say, I do, you know, LinkedIn for indie clothing lines, right? Now it becomes a whole different dialogue. Now you become the expert in that niche. Cause I guarantee right now on LinkedIn, there's nobody else with that title on.
No
right?
way.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And the one thing I saw when you started talking fashion, your face lit up.
Yeah, like you love it. You do still like totally love it and love to talk about it and know all the things.
I do still love it. Yeah. I mean, that's been in my, you know, that's been in my genes forever. I remember the day that I found out you could work in fashion. Like that was a literal job. What? I can get paid to do this? You're kidding.
That's awesome.
So
well, you know, Stephen Leese, who's the CEO of Gooder sunglasses, like it's not a huge brand, but it's a relatively big brand at this point. Yeah. And I mean, he shows up on LinkedIn and as himself, you know, I don't know what their company page does, but he shows up and talks about the company. Sometimes he talks about his wife, sometimes talks about his dog, but you know, I mean, so that's a one that you could at least be watch a little bit and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of indie clothing lines that you wear regularly, Melissa, or you interact with?
I mean, yeah, for sure. There's definitely a few. I would have to really like go to your point and Ashley's point, like see, are they active on LinkedIn at all?
Well, if you had some of these clothing lines, kind of another backdoor way in, is to promote them through your own content.
Yeah.
And let me and say, you know what? Hey, here are some of the indie clothing lines I love wearing. And I'm only putting this out there because, you know, I want to work with more indie companies, but I also want to bring awareness to these companies and show them on this, you know, this platform is another way to get exposure. And you're almost playing the backwards micro influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I used to do some of that when I was still heavily in, you know, consulting in fashion. Because it was what I talked about. And I would sometimes showcase, not necessarily from the viewpoint of me wearing it, but definitely like showcasing what they were doing, like innovation that they were doing. It's a really good point. Yeah.
Well, and I've seen you do like sustainability posts and stuff for other companies, you know, that are doing good things with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you get into wearing the clothing and all that stuff, that leads you down the path of another potential revenue stream with the affiliate links, linking back to them, putting it on your website, creating that content and creating that niche that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry, you wanted to go to.
You mean I can tell my husband I have to go shopping because it's business related?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
100%.
I love it.
But you don't see a whole lot of influencer marketing on LinkedIn yet. There's some, you know, I know a couple people that are doing it. But if you create your own influencer market, you know, get more people leaning into what you're talking about and promoting, it just lends to your overall expertise in a niche, which is really, really cool. I mean, you could go see if Shine wants somebody to represent them.
No.
Hard no from Melissa.
That's gonna be a hard no.
I love the idea though of doing like a even just a webinar for the fashion industry, for, you know, for LinkedIn marketing for the fashion industry, and just doing super basic stuff for some indie brands, just, you know, in just a 1 hour webinar just to talk about it, and maybe even find some people that you can invite to it that would know what you're talking about and be able to add to the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
Is there any? Go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
The behind the scenes would be really interesting. Like, how do you get them to start posting behind the scenes? Because they see the end product, but they don't actually see this like independent, unique, small batch creation of their designs. So
yeah, ooh, that would be cool.
That is interesting. Yeah.
And I would think about all the pop-up markets and, you know, the indie clothing shows or the likes. If you're the person, you know, documenting that, bringing people into that world, right? Like show them what it looks like to be at a walkway event or a pop-up shop, and like, and talk to the vendors. You know, you're really bringing more and more people into that world, and imagine the exposure those companies get just from simply you walking up and saying, hey, I'm at an XYZ pop-up shop on 91st and 42nd or whatever the hell big ass roads up there, with lots of sirens and sounds and smells. And
gotta have the sirens. And then one hasn't come through now.
And then after that, you send me and Ashley all your leftovers.
Yeah,
Bernie too.
Yeah,
right.
Sizes, yes. I love the idea too of like in the factories, like, because there are still factories in the garment district, right? Some of the stuff is still made here. A lot of it. Oh, that's actually, you know, a lot of it has shifted to LA, which right now is kind of a sensitive, you know, like I wonder how those factories are doing. Like,
Totally true.
Yeah.
I mean, you could become like the news reporter of the fashion industry on LinkedIn, and then that would start to draw people into you that would want to know what you're doing.
Oh my gosh. This has gone way off topic, and I kind of love it. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm going to keep going down the path. Are there conferences to bring in like all the indie clothing lines and stuff together, and whatnot? Because now you could go find it. Can you speak at those conferences, you know, and really get big into that brand in that lane?
Ooh, that's true. Because there's probably nobody speaking on that topic.
No.
And it's like people out there know that they need to be here. They just have no idea how to go about it and how to start. And that's what you do. So being able to speak and be like, yes, I know how to help you do this.
Yeah. I was you.
Right. And I think that the whole perspective of, when you were with Ralph Lauren, you didn't spend any time on LinkedIn.
Never.
Why? Right. So, why weren't you putting yourself out there? And if you speak from the corporate language of what ran through your head, along those lines, and then you do a lot in your post, but really starting to ramp it up specifically to the clothing line is, that's the kind of stuff that people are thinking about now still.
Yeah. No, agreed. And I think it's still kind of early in the LinkedIn game, right?
It
Like,
is.
there's tons of opportunity.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. And, you get both sides of the aisle. You got the guys and gals. So, think about how many dudes are in, it's obviously not me, but think how many dudes are into this over the top suits and, really putting their stuff together. Now, if you come up with like a country boy, collection, I'm in. As long as it's not a Care Bear hat. So
It's funny. I was going to say how many companies are really expanding into pet clothing. I don't think we've gotten to goat clothing yet, but
No.
it's an opportunity.
No, I did buy outfits for the baby goats once upon a time, but they were all puppies outfits. So
Huge market. It's a huge market.
insane. I had a gal work with me once upon a time. Her dog had its own closet for the different outfits that she put on it every day. Yeah.
Oh, have mercy.
Insane.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I do know, Melissa, there in Indianapolis, there are a couple guys that work at a like boutique suit shop who do show up on LinkedIn because their audience is there, I mean, and it's not just suits. They do like custom hand sewn jeans and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a very bespoke little shop, but they do show up on LinkedIn and I think they get a ton of business from it. Quite frankly, I could introduce you to him.
I talked to a couple of guys like that once upon a time, and they told me a pair of blue jeans were like $200. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Right?
Or like hand bespoke denim that's actually cheap.
Yeah.
So there are people doing it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's, what, this is super interesting. This was not at all where I expected this conversation to go. So I am super grateful because this is really interesting. I kind of love the idea of blending more of my past and my present together is like super interesting.
Absolutely.
Now I want to see the LinkedIn, catwalk, show where everybody's walking around their different, dresses and outfits and the likes. Bernie and I will be in it.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say, so now our next, we could do it at Babs. You've got the stage. We can do.
There you go.
Catwalk.
Right away.
This is going to show up with 5 suitcases for us.
I think we have an idea here.
Oh Lord.
But you have to bring outfits for the goats, so Donnie brings the goats.
Well, Donnie has to tell me how many goats are going to be there, so I know how to pack.
Oh, we're working on that. There will be goats there this year. I've already got it figured out. So, insane.
So, Melissa, here's another thing, another maybe like idea is one of the things that I'm figuring out is that I know how I felt when I was in the seat I was sitting in, but I never really talked to any of my managers about it, who would be the ones actually hiring. And so even just doing some research, talking to managers of marketing managers or managers of the departments that you would want to work with and ask them why they're not currently doing it and what kinds of things their initiatives are as far as increasing the name, the brand recognition without spending a ton of money, because that's the answer that you have, right? Is the people, like, have your people create personal brands for themselves, and then you're not spending any money and you're still increasing personal brands. So just do some research into that too, and the teams that you think you would want to talk to, because you are, people are very open to talking to you, like you're like, everybody knows you're kind and you can, you're not going to like beat them down or anything. No. So it's like you can get introductions to those people through how already how to use LinkedIn, just to be able to have conversations to find out where you need to be focusing your efforts, I guess.
Yeah, you could even easily put out a post and saying, guys, this is something I'm thinking about. So I'm looking to speak specifically with marketing managers just to interview them so I can ask some questions about what's going through their head in all this. And I guarantee with your following, your engagement, you're going to get a ton of people that pop in and say, ooh, either that's me or they're going to start tagging people.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah. You know, it's funny. It's something I've never done myself, but I do see those kind of posts all the time, right? Like just sort of like crowdsourcing these ideas. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm even ask for marketing managers in the fashion industry if you can, you know, I mean, go that far and say this, it would be really great if you knew somebody that was here, but just marketing managers in general would be great so that you can ask questions.
So.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Solving the world's issues one person at a time.
Oh my goodness. I can't thank you guys enough. Seriously, this is not where I thought this was going to go. And my little wheels are turning. So thank you guys.
So based on that, where is your head at? I mean, what are some of your takeaways? What are some of your action plans? What do you think you're going to do from here?
Yeah, I mean, I have to give all of this some thought. I'm going to rewatch the episode when it goes live because I have to like remember everything.
Oh, it's live right now, so you'll have to go back.
Like, oh, well, there you go. You know, like, okay, true. I'll rewatch the episode so I like get everything. I definitely want to think about some local like New York City brands that I like, that I either am a customer of, or if I'm not a current customer, at least that do things that I really admire, because that's huge for me, right? Like I never want to, and this is how I operated when I was in the industry. I never wanted to work for a brand that I wouldn't have been proud of saying I worked for, right? Like I never wanted to work for those places that made $2 t-shirts because that just, you know, was not something I would be proud of. So kind of making a list of those companies that might be local, that I might be able to make inroads with, that I might be able to see actual production. I'm thinking of, you know, I did a video a while back with someone that I know who's doing this incredible work with chess, right? Using chess to change people's lives overseas. And we did this like documentary style video, and I got so much feedback from that, so much engagement from that. People were super interested in the organization. And so I think in a way that was almost like a little test pilot without realizing it. People really do like those behind the scenes kind of things. And I love the idea about just like putting a crowdsourcing post out there, right? Like marketing managers, would you be willing to come talk to me for 15 minutes? I think is a super good idea. And, you know, I've had this thought for a while about convincing, you know, brands that this is the way of the future. And this is a very low to no cost way to really get your brand out there through your people. And so this was really helpful in kind of just solidifying that conversation a little bit.
One more idea is go find one of those indie brands that you're in love with and literally say, hey, I'm trying to figure out, is this a place I need to be working, niching out and doing with? Could we try and experiment with your company? No cost. Let me see if I can work with your team. Document the entire process. Right? And bring people along for the ride. Yes. So other companies see what you could potentially do for them.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
I like doing the first one free, kind of the drug dealer style thing, because it gets other people to lean in.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your old products and services.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
So, well, good stuff. All right, guys. Oh, and just for the record, Melissa Cohen is actually officially one of the newest members of Success Champions Networking. Joined Bernie's group up there. So
that's right.
We continue to grow. To grow. It's a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, let's talk about upcoming events, workshops, and anything you have coming down the pipes. I know, Bernie, I know you got a couple coming.
Yep, I got 2 this week, 1 tomorrow. We've got Learn How to Use AI to Simplify, Streamline, and Scale Your Business with Allison Simmons, 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we've got our weekly Disruptor discussions with Jennifer Fry and her guest, Lilia Sanders, this week.
Nice. Very cool. Jessica?
Awesome. Tomorrow night in Grapevine is Rock and Brews Happy Hour with Metroplex Business Influencers. Next week is First Thursday, and then we have some things coming up in Austin live in person, so check those out. And then February 5th, I am doing a 30 content ideas in 1 hour, so come join me for an hour on February 5th.
Nice. Ashley, got anything coming up?
Nope, I do not.
Slacker. We got to get on that. Melissa,
I got a
you got
swim
anything?
meet this weekend. That I got. Maybe swim meet.
No. Love to swim, but no. Melissa, you got anything coming up?
I don't think so. No, not off the top of my head. I had a webinar last week, and I think this week I'm just gonna chillax.
Nice. Peyton, who do we got next week coming up on the show? If you'll take 2 seconds to figure that out. And then I have endless streamer referrals for me coming up on February 19th. This is how to create an endless stream of referrals coming into your business. It's a fun workshop to do. And that's all I've got. Oh, on the 29th, I'm hanging out with Tim Berry and doing a sales prospecting boot camp. So it's a 4-hour on Friday with him. So I'll be in there talking about networking as part of that boot camp and stuff. And then, of course, as always, we got the Badass Business Summit friggin' September 17th through the 19th here in Fort Worth, Texas. It's going to be a good damn time. So we're getting ramped up. We've already had a couple of ticket sales starting off the year, but we're getting ready to solidify the schedule, get all the final details in it, and be launching that out to you guys. So it's going to be a hell of a shindig. So make sure your butts get there. But guys, we're here every Monday, 8 a.m. Central, hanging out with some amazing people, and then Bernie as well. But we're having a good time, with everybody. And Ash, Woody tells me you're a great addition to the show. He really likes having you on there. Boy, I think he is your biggest fan. That dude, like, fangirls all over you. It's great.
Well, also I feel like he is the grandpa version of me.
Yes, 100%. So Woody is actually coming to talk to SCN on February 6th at 10 o'clock Central. So if you're a member of Success Champions, Woody's a former Duke football coach, former Hall of Fame coach for his alma mater, and now is one of the top fundraisers in collegiate football. And just a damn good dude. So
Yeah,
he's going to come in.
Cool dude.
So really, I talked to him this weekend on the phone, and man, he had me laughing because he's as big a smart ass as I am. So I love it.
Yeah.
So, but he'll be here on February 6th for all the SCN members. So, but guys, every Monday, 8 a.m. Central, come hang out with us. Go have some fun. Love you, mean it. See you. Bye.
Bye.